So, okay, so I was saying that once you understand how to communicate with AI, you always get the best out of the AI you're using. And at times, prompting alone does not just do all the job. The type of AI model you use also plays a part in helping you get a better result. That's the reason why we started with understanding the different type of LLMs, so you know which one to use at every point in time. We might give the same kind of prompt. For instance, we'll look at different type of prompt for different use cases. But if you bring a different image generation tool now, and bring Nano Banana or bring GPT to image, give the same prompt to either Nano Banana and a different image generation, you'll see that the results will be different. It's not because of the prompts are different, but because of the model they use behind is different. Nano Banana and Gemini 2, Gemini image, GPT image 2 has the best image generation capability at the moment. So what you generate from them will be far better compared to what you generate from any other image generation. So at times the tool matters as well, not just the prompt. So let's just proceed. Okay, so basically prompting is like the bridge between using AI as a toy and using AI as a weapon. Most times people just use AI for just normal chat. Just say, okay, I want to create this thing. I want to get this information. Can you give me this? Can you help me generate this? Can you tell me about this? But you need to understand that a good prompt helps you get the best out of that AI instead of just using it as just a tool, a toy or what you just play around with. So we need to understand this. The model also differentiates. Like I said, the model differentiates the type of response you get from the AI. And if you have that mindset of getting the best, you should be able to give it the right prompt that will give you the best results. So I just run down how we'll go through for the next 60, or let's say 50 minutes thereabouts. So we'll look at the general prompting. We'll look at Cdance 2.0, how to prompt Cdance to get the best result if you want to create videos. Look at how to prompt Nano Banana and also GPT image to get the best results. We'll also look at prompt code as well, and we'll look at different examples. Then we'll go into Q&A. But if you have any question while we're still talking, you can always stop me to ask a question, and I'll always apply that handbrake. Now, there are 6 questions you need to ask if you want to prompt an AI. You need to consider those 6 questions to make sure that the AI understands what you're giving, what you're asking them to do, and gives you the best result. First, the AI needs to understand who they are. You need to give the AI a role. Like, I want you to be this person. I want you to be this expert in this. So once you assign that role to the AI automatically assume that responsibility, knowing that they are the expert in that field. And you also need to ask yourself, who am I? So the context you're providing to the AI, the current situation, and also the audience you want to target, everything needs to be included in that prompt. If you don't have that, then it's incomplete. Then what is the task? What are you asking the AI to do? What is the specific action that you need from the AI to take? What is success, or what does success look like? What are you expecting to get back from the AI? And also, what is the format? Do you want it in table? Do you want it in HTML? Do you want it in any format you want that response to come out to? You also need to indicate that in the prompt. And what are the constraints? So this is negative prompting. So in the sense that you don't want these things to appear, you don't want these things to be added, you don't want these things to be included. So you can also include negative prompting if you don't want that to be added to the prompt. So I just want us to quickly just run through some of what I have on this slide, and we can go into this hands-on and look at the prompt in detail. So the first method for us to look at when you're looking at general prompting as a guide is called CRAFT. So this CRAFT simply stands for context, action, role, action, format, and tone. So context is very important. AI needs to have more context. If you just give AI plain words, they might not really understand. They might just assume that this is what you're asking them for. But if you add more context to what you're asking them to do, it gives them more clarity. Then you also need to add the role. You want them to act as this, act as an expert in this, act as a LinkedIn ghostwriter. Just tell them what you want them to specialize on, and they'll be able to act in that regard. Action also is important. So which action do you want them to take? What do you want them to do in response in as regards the prompt or what you're asking them for? The format, which format you want it to take, and the tone you want it to come out in. You might want them to write in your own tone, you might want them to write in your own voice, or you might want them to write in a specific tone. So just tell them exactly all you want. So once you have this, or once you understand this craft method, your prompt will always come out with the best results compared to just giving it a random information or random instruction for them to do something for you that is just basic. So that is the first framework. We'll also look at that in detail as well. There are also different frameworks that you can look at. The XYZ. The first time I heard this was when I did one course with Google. So Google they use this framework a lot. So basically, this usually works if you're applying for a job, for instance. So you always say you accomplished X as measured by Y doing Z. So this framework works basically if you want to apply for a job and you want to show basically what you've done or the result you achieved, or you're trying to send out a report. You're showing, okay, this is like, if you're a project manager, for instance, you want to give a report of what has been accomplished. This format usually works best. So the AI will use the same format to write exactly what you've accomplished as measured by what you gave them and also why you were doing the other thing. So that's the XYZ formula. And there's also the contract system. So here you have the role plus the goal plus the constraints. And if you're unsure, you ask, then you get the output format. So this is also different. This is more like similar to the craft framework, where you give it the role, you tell it what the goal is, tell it what the constraint is, and also the output format you want it to give you the response to. This also works best for Claude specific or reusable complex prompts, because if you're using if you're trying to find out more from a tool like Claude, like I always say, is the best when it comes to writing and giving them the most reasonable response. So you can use this. Also, we have the 4-block pattern. So the 4-block pattern, you give an instruction, you write the context, you add the task, put the output format. So basically, if you look at all these prompting formats, all this formula, you see that they all have similar things in common. Like they all have this context must be there, the task, that's the goal, what you want them to accomplish. The format must also be there, and constraint could be the negative prompting. So once you understand how this different prompting works, it will be a lot easier for you to get the best response from AI. There's also the few short learning. So here you show 2 to 5 examples, basically trying to give the AI pattern of how you do things. Like for instance, if you want to start posting things online, I want to start posting content on Instagram, let me not say Instagram, or LinkedIn, for instance, and you want it to write like you need to give it different examples of your previous write-ups, previous posts. So it learns from the example you've given it. It learns from what you've given it to what you've done in the past. So basically, at times, you can even combine like 2 or 3 of these formats to get the best results when it comes to prompting. So these are the different type of advanced prompting that you can use for general case study. So that's basically the first section for this. And the next one is Seedance. Like I said, if you have any question, please feel free to stop me and ask a question, and I'll be more than happy to respond. So the next one is Seedance. I actually added this to this slide or to this training because recently video creation has been making waves, and some people have been thinking of going into creating video or having either a YouTube channel or Instagram or TikTok where they create content, faceless content. And at the moment, Seedance 2.0 is the best when it comes to video generation. What Seedance 2.0 can do, no other model can do what they can do at the moment. So they are currently the best. And if you want to start up a faceless channel, that would definitely help you get monetized as soon as possible, and I will drive more traffic to you, or what creates something that people would like, I would recommend you use Seedance 2.0 because it's the best at the moment when it comes to cinematography or when it comes to real films. Even at the point when it was launched newly, then people were now using faces of celebrities. You'll see there was a video somebody created where you'll see, I think it was Tom Cruise and one other popular celebrity or popular actor fighting somehow, somewhere. They just created this scene, random scene where both of them were just fighting each other, and it looked so real, like it was Hollywood movie. So with that, Hollywood became scared and they had to start threatening Seedance because they know that with something like this, you don't need big budget anymore to create a movie. If they allow something like this to continue, that means Hollywood will be cooked. So they had to start filing different lawsuits to find a way to ban Seedance, to make it not to be used in public and all that. But the only thing they succeeded in doing was just to censor it a bit. So now you can't use a popular celebrity to create video anymore with Seedance. At times there are some faces you even ask them to regenerate or to touch up, they will not accept because the person might look like a celebrity. So that's the only thing they succeeded in doing. But aside from that, Seedance still remains the best when it comes to video generation. So I thought, okay, I should add that here because some people might want to go into creating content like faceless content online. So how this works is that you need to act as the director shooting the film, and you need to be able to specify camera angle. You need to be able to specify the type of lens, type of lighting that you want to use, the process of making that video, everything that it takes to create a complete video. You need to give it the whole detail. And this is very good at using that, understanding that prompt. So that's the reason why you need to understand how to prompt it the right way for you to get the best results. If you don't know how to do the prompt, you might skip some of these aspects of the prompt. Like it might not include the camera angle, you might not include the lighting that you want, you might not include the type of lens that the video should use when creating. And also, the time also matters. Like from 0 to 2 seconds, what do you want to happen in that scene? From 3 to 5 seconds, what do you want to happen? So all these things matters when writing the prompt for Seedance. At the same time, referencing the image you want to use, because Seedance, if you're using Seedance on any platform, it has option for you to reference images. So you can either reference image 1 or reference image 2 or reference image 3, depending on how many characters you want to appear in your scene. So you have to use at image 1, at image 2, or use a reference for character and style consistency across. But that does not really matter if you want to, if you've already created your character consistent or your consistent character, you don't need to put a reference. But this at image 1, image 2, image 3 is important. So the AI understands which image or which character you're talking about at every point in time. If I go back to, let me look for that video I created. So let me see. I think this is the final clip. Okay, this one, I created this one separately. Can you guys hear the audio? I'm not sure if I enabled sound.
No audio.
No audio. So, okay, I will do that later. Let me just show you guys another different option. What I was trying to say. So if I try to open Flow here, I just want us to just do this as practical as possible so it doesn't look so scripted. Continue with Flow. Okay, this is my login. So I just want to quickly show you guys. Let's see. Okay, so while I generated this video yesterday, so I used this and I also used GPT image for the image generation. This is how I created the consistent character. So it is based on the prompt that I gave it that I was able to give me this unique character from different angles, different sides. So that way, once you're using it to generate a video, the AI understands what the person should look like, irrespective of the angle the camera is coming from. and the person is facing front, side, back, it will still carry that same consistency on that person. So that's the reason why I said, if I go back to the slide, that you might not need to use omni-reference for style and character consistency across multiple shots. If you create something like this already works for consistent character creation. Now, the reason why I even came here was I wanted to show you guys, I created this video with the same prompt. This video and this other one that I just played. But let me play this one again so we can see the difference. Let me play it one more time so you guys can see. So if you guys see, from here, it looked like the guy was walking backwards. Even from the beginning, even look at the guy's shoe. Somehow it looked as if it was facing backward or facing or sideways. And all of a sudden, the guy started walking forward towards the camera. And at this point, the guy started moving backwards. And what the prompt say, this is the prompt that I use for this. So with this prompt, I told the AI the kind of visual style that I want. I told it the subject, a Nigerian man, mid-30s. I told it the environment, it should be around Yaba, Lagos, even though that does not look like Yaba. I told the AI the emotional target. I told it the color logic, the smart. So all these things I included is supposed to make this model smarter to understand the kind of video that I wanted to create. And also give it the timing. So you need to indicate in your prompt at which point do you want certain things to happen in that particular video. So I give it the timing from this to this period, the feet hits wet pavement, and from this periods, 2 seconds, 6 seconds, the approach and all that, till it got to 15 seconds. So this is everything I gave to this. This was created using Google View 3.1, which used to be the best at some time, but at the moment it seems like it's now lagging behind. Let me play it one more time so we can see. So all of a sudden, the street market, everything disappeared, and the guy started walking backward. So now let's compare it to this other one. Now look at this other one. See how consistent the movement looked. It was walking forward all through the video, and it continued walking forward. Even at some point, you see the shadow on the guy's body. You see the shadow like the cameraman's shadow on the guy's body. So if you're not told that this was created by AI, you might not even know if you don't look at it very well. So everything shows that it looks more real compared to the one that was created with your 3.1. So that's the reason why I also said prompting alone does not do all the work. Though prompting does the heavy lifting for you, but you still need to use a good model to get the best results. We were both created with the same kind of prompt, but this looks more real. The movement, even though all this road market or these road sellers, they disappeared at some point. This is something you can always still go back and reprompt the AI that I wanted to still include them, and it still do that. But for just one shot, we got this result. So that is what prompting can do. And this is still the same prompt that I use for all this. If I had given the AI just a plain prompt and say, I wanted to create a straight view of a black guy that just walking on the road and wearing jacket and all that, it won't give me anything close to what we just saw. So that's basically why I brought this up for those that want to go into video creation or faceless video, because there are so many things that you can do with this. And if you want to, you can create animated content with it. You can create even products, adverts. You can create even UGC style, user-generated style of video whereby you advertise products. It's trending all over the whole TikTok at the moment. People even product that they don't even own or that they do not even buy. All you need to do is just to take a picture of that product, give it to Seedance, give it the right prompt, and to generate a UGC or a content creator that's advertising or that's selling, talking about that product. It will look as if they bought that product. So that's the reason why I brought this in. And it's important for you to understand how to prompt it for you to get the best results from it. Now, looking at the prompt for this, you have to understand this particular framework for you to get the best out of Seedance. The subject is very important. That's who you're talking about, who the character is in the frame. the action, what the person is doing at every point in time is very important. The camera angle, that is how Seedance stands ahead of every other video production, because Seedance is very good at camera movement. So you need to instruct it on the camera angle, the lens, the movement. Also, the setting matters a lot. The location, the time, the mood. Then you can add the aesthetic, which is the style, the color grade, and add the energy, the emotional tone, and the pace. So these are the framework that you can use to get the best if you want to start generating with Seedance. So for this one we created now, we said, this is the exact instruction that I used to create that video I just showed you guys. The subject, a young Nigerian entrepreneur, mid-30 in a Navy suit. Action, walking through a bustling Lagos Tech hub at sunrise. Camera, tracking dolly shots, 35mm lens, eye level. Setting, Yaba, 6:30 a.m., golden hour, wet pavement, aesthetic and energy, cinematic, film grain, warm, desaturated, grade, quiet ambition, and also before a big day. So basically, it followed the exact prompt. So once you're giving it this prompt, there's no way you'll not get a Hollywood standard shot if you create any video. So it's important for us to understand this SACS framework. There's even a video I created yesterday using Seedance as well. I used the SACS framework and the shot was very, very Hollywood standard, not just like every other thing that you create with any other platform. Okay, so that's basically about Seedance. What you just need to understand is this framework, this prompt. Before we finish, I'll also show you guys, for those that use Claude or that want to start using Claude as well, there is this company called HeyGen. Is it? No, not HeyGen. It is. Am I forgetting this company? So basically, I remember the company, but they created a prompt for Claude Code, or they created a skill for Claude Code. So what you need to do is just to download the skill. So if I go to, let me say, create a new chat. So all you need to do is to download the skill and upload the skill to your Claude Code. And once you upload that skill, you'll be able to use that skill to generate prompts for you. Like for instance, I already installed that skill. So I just told it to find out if it has that Seedance skills. And it said yes. Seedance 2 director skill loaded here, text to video prompt, image to video prompt, multi-program format. So if you have that skill already installed on your Claude Code, you just give it. So I gave it that prompt. I took a screenshot of that prompt from the slide deck and I gave it. So I asked it to regenerate the prompt attached on the screen. So this is what it gave me based on the skill it has already. So this follows that same SASK framework we talked about. But because we have this skill, I don't need to always try to remember this or try to use this when I'm writing prompts. I'll just go to Claude Code and just tell it to generate this or regenerate the prompt or to create the prompt for me using that skill. And to go ahead to do that, give me the script skill, also give me the director note so I'll know how to prompt that when I get to Seedance. So this will make it a lot easier for you to use prompts very often and also make it faster if you're creating anything from scratch. So that's basically how you generate a cinematic shot on Seedance or using Seedance. If you have any question, please feel free to ask me at any point in time. So let me just breeze through this.
So Eric, when you say Claude Code, you mean Claude AI, yeah?
Claude AI. But basically, if you want to install it, you have to go through Claude Code. You know, Claude, if you're using the desktop app, just a moment, if fine, I'll get to you. So if you're using the desktop app, it has the option for Claude Chat. So this chat basically explains things to you. If you want to understand anything, this chat explains things to you. It has the co-work. This is the co-work part. Co-work does things for you like an agent. And then the Claude Code creates things for you. So if you want to add a skill, you have to go through Claude Code to add a skill. You can't do that from Claude, like, especially if you want to attach a skill, you have to go through Claude Code to attach that. Most times I like doing that. So I have some skills that I've added also. Most times I like doing that through VS Code. Let me just pull VS Code up here. I like doing that through VS Code. If I have Claude Code here on VS Code. So it's a lot. The reason why I like VS Code is because VS Code I can see all the files that I'm working with on the left panel of it. So I can do that through VS Code. It's faster. But if you don't want to go into technical part of it, you can just go through the app. So install whatever I want to install. So that's the skill. If I go ahead with your question.
Okay, I think you just mentioned a bit about what I was going to ask, which is the Claude AI that you're talking about downloading a skill on. Is it the web page or is it the app for the Claude? Can you download on both, or is there anyone that is easier to download a skill on? I understand you mentioned that to download a skill, you go through the Claude Code, right? Even on the web page.
Yes. It's easier. You can do that on any of them. You can do that from this Claude Code. The app has this Claude Code, so that makes it easier for you to do that here. You can just attach if you downloaded the skill, you can just attach that here, and you'll be able to install that skill. So basically what I do is that, because most of these skills, you always find them on GitHub. So let me just show you guys, for instance, if I just copy this. So if I open this link now here, so most of the skills you get them from, because most people that create these skills, they save them or they store them in on GitHub sort of. So you just have to find the skill, or if you find the one you want, you copy the link. So what I just do is that I just copy this link. If I copy it, I'll go to Claude. I'll just tell it that I want to attach this link. I want it to go through the GitHub repo that I'm attaching, and I want it to install the skill globally. So the reason why I use the word globally, so that I can use it on my app, I can use it on, if I go to GitHub, if I go to VS Code, I can still use that same skill. So it is not just installed on a particular section, a particular folder, a particular app. It is installed globally on all my Claude access, so I can use it there. So that's the reason why. For instance, this particular skill is for image, or is for video editing. So this skill was created by HeyGen. HeyGen is a popular company that creates AI avatar. So what this skill does is that it gives you the hyperframes skill. So what it does is that it helps you can use it to edit video. You can use the skill to create motion graphics on your video. Like you see some video, once they are talking, you'll see different graphics appearing on the screen on that same video. So you can use that to create. So what you need to do is just to give it this GitHub repo. So to go through the repo and understand the skill and install the skill. So once you have that video to edit, just give it your raw video. It will cut out all the mistakes. It will add the different motion graphics based on what you instruct it to do, and to add everything that will make it look like professional. But most times, you might not get it 100% on the first try. You just have to keep prompting and keep telling it back and forth. Okay, do this, add this. And also, there's also another skill with Claude Code that is called self-healing. So it learns things over time. As you keep instructing it, keep telling it to correct, it keep updating its memory with the correction, and that helps it to learn more. So next time when you come back for that same thing, it won't give you the first initial result it gave you. It will give you the corrected result based on what it has learned over time. So that's another important thing to note. And if I can go ahead.
Sorry, I have plenty questions. No, well, not plenty, just one more. So the Seedance, it's accessible. It's a tool that is accessible free of charge. I'm guessing it has a free version, right?
Seedance can be accessed through different platforms. You can access Seedance through OpenArt. OpenArt you can access Seedance through OpenArt. You can also access Seedance through, there's one popular one, Higgsfield. You can also access Seedance through Higgsfield. No, this is not the correct Higgsfield. Through Higgsfield. So you can also access Seedance, Seedance 2.0. So there are different ways for you to access Seedance, whichever way is convenient for you. So both Higgsfield Open Ads, they are not free, so you have to subscribe for you to be able to access them. So once you pay for their monthly subscription, I think it starts about either $7 or $8. Then they'll give you some amount of tokens that you use for your generation. So you can either access it here or access it here. Xfeed is the most popular one that people use a whole lot. But what I prefer doing is I use Key AI. So Key AI is, let me just go to the homepage. So Key AI is an API platform. What they do basically is that it's just if you're creating like an automation or you're creating like different platform, you want an API connection, you'll get the API from Key AI. So the reason why I use this is because I already have the API, I already have the subscription for this. And it's not like you subscribe monthly, you add a token. So if you add a token, you'll only be charged based on what you use. If you don't use your token, like the token that I have here, I think I subscribed for it. I added it, I think about 3-4 months ago, and I'm still using it. It's not like I use it at the point I stopped using it because I use it for my automation process. At the point I stopped using it. But for Seedance and for Higgsfeed and OpenAds, you subscribe monthly. So even if you don't even use the subscription at the end of the month, it expires. You have to subscribe again the next month. But for this, you only pay for what you use. So that's why I prefer using this. And with this, you can still get the same quality shots. So this, let me just play this video. I was just creating a random testing from the prompt that I gave it to see what it turns out to be. Let me see. So this is basically like a product showcase or something. Let me just see. Okay, so this is just a random prompt to like show somebody using this product. So like I was saying, you can either use on any of this platform, depending on what you prefer. You can use Higgsfeed, you can use OpenAds. So I don't know if that has answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you. Then one last question.
Okay.
You see that the video, you made 2 videos when you were giving us the practical. One had the one with the error, the guy walking backwards, and the one that was clean. The one that was clean. Which version of both of them were they Seedance, and then which version was the better one, and which version was the one that had funny working figures?
No, this one, if I play it again, you'll see you can see the watermark here. This one was done with Veo 3.1. This one was done with Veo 3.1. So I used Flow. Google has this platform called Flow, Flow Lab. You can generate image, you can generate video on this. And for image generation, you can do it for free. But for video generation, you pay, I think, about like 10 credits that you spend on a particular video if you have the subscription. But for the image, you can do it for free. So this was Veo. Then the other one was done with Seedance. The better one was done with Seedance, which was the one that I did from here. So I just gave it the prompt on its own, just the prompt, without adding any reference images, and was able to create that video for me. So, but any of them can be used at any point in time. But I prefer using Key AI because Key AI I already have a subscription plan. I already have credits. I already have credits in this. I always use it. And I use it for other things as well because I have other AI anytime automations that runs on its own that I use the API from here with. So that's the reason why I use this playground. Patra, do you still have a question? Fine.
No, I'm good for now. Thank you so much.
Okay, Chloe, you have the floor.
Okay. Hi, Chidi.
Hi.
So this platform, right, that has
This
the token
one,
option for, yes, this is the one that has the token option for Seedance, right?
yeah.
What's the
No,
name of
this
this
is
platform?
this for API. This is Key AI, KIE, KIE,
PAI.
Key
Is,
AI, KIE. So
okay, so how do we set up the same thing?
set up. I mean,
How do
how do
we
you create?
set it up so that yes, do
Okay.
we just go to PAI and what next? What's the process?
If you go to Key AI, this is the landing page. This is where you get to. And once you
Okay.
sign up, once you log in with your account and you go to pricing, you go to billing, go to billing. So from here I still have some credits, 1,447. So you can put as little as $5 or $5 credits to it. Gives you 1,000 credits or $5. Paying $5, adding your card gives you 1,000 credits to it. So once you have that, and that's another good thing about this. Once you have this, you can always use it to generate the different kind of videos you want to generate. Then from here, you go to Playground. Okay, go to models. This is, you select, you have option for different models you want to select, different ones you want to try. But since what we want is sedans, you can just search for sedans. So you see sedans 2.0, you try it, click on try it. So once that opens, this is where you can copy the API if you want to use it on your automation or different platform. But if you want to try it on, you can try it on this Playground. So you see options for different reference images. Like for instance, for this particular example, they added these different characters. These characters added their different still action poses, what they're supposed to be doing, and also added the scene which you want them to appear in. Then here they also gave a reference video. So the good thing about Sedans is that you can also add a reference video which you want your characters to imitate. For instance, if I play this video now, so this is what the reference video looks like. So with this, the AI will understand what the character will be doing. And if I go back and play the video, you'll see it's exactly the same thing the reference video did. So you can test whatever you're doing here. That's your prompts here. Once you're through, you can just download it and use it for whatever you want to do with it. But the maximum length you can generate is 15 seconds. So once you want to generate like a 30 seconds or 50-second video, you have to do like multiple shots and doing multiple shots. If you generate the first thing, let's just play this till the end. You generate the first scene, and this is where it ended. You will have two options on how to extend it. You can either take if you put it on CapCut, CapCut gives you the option to download the last frame of that video. You can download the last frame or just take a screenshot of it, then re-upload it, or you download the entire video, add it as the reference video. Then with that, it will continue from where that last video stopped with your next prompt to generate the next scene for you or the next video that you can then merge together on CapCut. So that's how Sedans works in a nutshell.
Okay. So for the API key, right? Does Claude AI, does it create videos?
Claude does.
It does. Do you have
Yes.
to put in the API for all those automation stuff? Do you have to put in the API key from here?
Definitely. You have to go to these API keys, click on it, and you create your own API keys. So these are the different ones that I've created that I've been using. You create a new key. Once you create a new key, copy the new key, give it to Claude. So you can use that if you wanted to generate video, generate images, because you can use Nano Banana from here. You can also use GPT image from here. So depending on what you want to generate that. This key AI is just like, for instance, how Netflix works. Netflix with different movies in it. So it's just like Netflix for different application APIs. You have different images, you have different videos, you have different music. So different thing you can use the API. You can use it on the API. So that is basically how it works.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so that's fine. Now, I think next week training will be on Claude Code. So we'll talk more about all this. So, do you still have any question? Is this a legacy hand? Is it Allah? Allah, do you have a question? Okay, if you're talking, you're on mute. I guess you don't have a question. Okay, Bamidele, do you have a question? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.
Okay, and Bamidele and Ola, whenever you're ready to, if you have a question, you can just go ahead and ask. If not, I can just proceed.
Eric, before you proceed, I got I think I missed my way along the line where you were explaining the key API. Can we say like the Key API is an application on its own that you can actually add quite a number of other what do I say, other tools to be used on it, more like so that you can have your tools organized and in like a pantheon, isn't it?
Okay, so it's close to what you explained now. But basically, how API works generally, you connect different applications to an external application with an API. You can either use an API or use MCP. What does API stand for again? Something application interface. Can't remember. I'm not very tech when it comes to all this, but I just know how it works. So you can either use API or use MCP. So MCP, Model Context Protocol, you can use both of them to connect different apps together. So the reason why we come here is, for instance, if let's say I go to, let me show you guys a live scenario. So let me just open my Anything. I think Anything would be the easiest example. So if I open my Anything, for instance, let that just come up, and I'll go to, okay, let me go to where I used KI. I'll go back to overview, and where is my UGC? So if I go to this workflow, for instance, now this workflow, I used KI severally here. For instance, anyway, for those that don't know this is Anything. So Anything is a no-code automation platform used to create different automation workflow if you want to have things done automatically for you. So now for this part, let me open this node here. What I did from here is that because of I need this to help me generate the image and video. If you see here, I used api.key.ai. So let me see if I can zoom it. So I use here api.key.ai. So now I'm connecting this to an external application, which is the Key AI. And instead of me going to Key AI to paste the prompt here to generate this video, what I did was I created this workflow. So automatically, once I trigger this from here, it goes ahead to communicate with Key AI and tell them that I want to create this video, and it will give Key AI the prompt that I need to create that video. So what Key AI does is that Key AI receives that signal and start creating that video. And this has to wait for 6 minutes for the video to finish creating. Once it has finished creating, it gets the video and the workflow continues. So basically, what API does is that it connects one application to a different application. So the API now is connecting my workflow to Key AI. So instead of me coming here to do it manually, I just do it automatically, and it runs on its own without me coming to Key AI at all. So that is how this works. You can also do that for image generation as well. There's also another one I used here. You can see this. This is File. There's also File AI. File AI does the same thing that Key AI does. Let me just open File AI. So File AI also generates the same kind of API for the same kind of process. So it's the same thing with this. So this is an answer. It has an GPT image too that just launched. So you go through the same process here, log in, then you see the option for CDANs, different images, different things that you can do. Then you take your API key and connect it to your external application, or you can even come here and do it on the playground. But basically, what API does is to connect two different applications together. Instead of going from one application to the next one, you just connect them and use one application to do everything that you want to do. So that's how it works. Hope that explains it better, Muchi.
Yes, for now.
For now. Anyway, we'll still touch more about video creation, about automation. So we'll look more on APIs on different applications and how they works. So let's just run through this.
Good evening, Eric.
Okay, please
I
go
just
ahead.
want to ask all these applications you mentioned here.
Yeah.
Are they accessible on a app like because probably I have a, let me say,
Of course, you can use them.
I have a
on
tablet and I want to download this application. I type that how, or I can
Yes, you can use them on different. They all work on the web, so it's not like you need to download any application. So once you have the link, if you just go to Google, type in key.ai, you'll get it on your phone anywhere. So it's a web app. You can use it on tab, on web, or any other platform you use. So they are easy to access. Okay, so
thank you.
oh, wahala. So this one, let me see. Is there any other hand up? Davidson.
This, thank you. Forgive my manners. Thank you so much for thus far.
No wahala, go
I'm
ahead.
enjoying the class. This key AI, KIE, is it only API for videos you can get there, or can you get any other API from them?
You can get different things from it. If you go to models market, you'll see there are different models: text to speech, image to video, text to music, speech to text. So there are different, whatever you're looking for, anything that is supposed to have API that you use for creating video or images or even music, and get any of them here. You just have to search for, let's say if I search for Suno, for instance. They also have Suno. So Suno basically is for creating music. You can get the API here if you want to create music and different things. So it's not just only video and images. They have APIs for different things. So what you just do, if you just get the API key, the API key covers for every other thing that they have. If you want to create music, let's say you want to create a workflow for creating music, the same API that will cover for music, you still use that same API to cover for video or for image generation. So the API covers different things that they provide, not just image and video generation.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. So the reason why I had to use Nano Banana and GPT Image 2, because at the moment they are the best when it comes to image generation. Nano Banana used to be the very best, but at the moment GPT Image 2 has beaten its hands down. And let me just quickly breeze through all this. So for your prompting, you need to take note of the subject, the composition. So this is just like video generation we just talked about. These are the things you need to take note of if you really want to get a very good prompt, a very good result out of your prompts. All these things really matters. If not, you get a basic results. And for prompt code, so this is just like a much more a modern way of writing prompts. Instead of writing the full prompt, the full description of what you want them to do, you want it to look at the lightning, the pace, the character, and all that. You can just give it like a short code. So with this short code, it will be able to give you a better result of what you want. For instance, if you say bulletproof, so bulletproof simply helps it to find weakness and helps you to critique whatever you're writing to help you get the best results. And it's more like a code format. It's not as long as what the usual prompt will do. So you just write your plain English or write in your simple English, then you add that short code in front of whatever you're writing. So the AI automatically understands that you want it to do what is on that short code or what that short code is asking for. So that's how you get a very good result if you're using that. There are different short codes that you can use for different use cases, depending on what you want the AI to do for you. So let's see. So basically, to sum up the whole thing we've talked about, if you're looking at prompts, if you say, write me a blog post about coffee, the AI will still write a blog post about coffee, but it will not be as detailed as when you give it the role, give it the action, tell it what you want it to accomplish, and tell it how you want it to look. So for this, it says for this prompt, there is no role, no format, no audience. It will definitely generates a weak output. And once you add the role to it and you say you are a food journalist, write a 300-word intro for a specialty coffee blog targeting millennials. Now you've assigned a role to it. So the AI knows what it specialized at. It will be able to give you a response based on that. And there's also a chain of thoughts. So a chain of thoughts helps the AI to reason and list like the process, like think before giving your response. So like list 3 reasons people choose specialty coffee, then write the 200. So now telling it to give reason, to force the AI to think before giving you that reason, or that response. So it forces reasoning before output, helps the AI to think about what their response is. Then few short example. This is where you provide example for the AI, so AI understands what they want to do based on what you've been doing before. So they give you exactly what you're asking for. And if we look at the full prompt, it's to act as a senior content strategist. Write the 400-word blog intro about specialty coffee for health conscious readers, age 25 to 40. Use a surprising fact as the hook. So everything you want the AI to understand, you're giving the AI. If you want to also add to this, you can also give it a few short examples. So the AI understands how you want it to write and going forward. So this is basically how you prompt an AI to give you the best response on whatever you're doing. I'll just quickly run through 1 or 2 examples. So I have this, let me just go back to the top. So for instance, I want to generate an interactive dashboard. You can just give it a prompt and say, create a sales dashboard web page for me, and you'll see what you get out from the AI. But if you give it with the formula and say, act as a senior front-end developer, this is the context, this is the action, these are the components that you need, this is the design requirements, this is the format, this is the constraint, like the negative prompting. So once you give the AI this complete prompt, there is no way they'll give you anything basic. There is no way you get anything basic from the AI. The same thing with other prompting as well. If you just say, create a brand identity for a coffee shop, you'll see what you get back from it. Let me just take this for instance. Let's use DeepSeek. I want to use a free AI model that we can all access. Let me refresh the page. Let me just give it this, create a brand identity for a coffee shop. So even though it is going through the thinking process, let's see what it comes out with. While this is going, let me just go to Qwen as well. So let me open the chat and let's go to web dev and let's give it that same prompt. Let's allow it to think so it can give us the best results, and let's see what it comes up with. So what DeepSeek gave us is just a detailed prompt for us to create that. This identity position links. Okay, so this does not create the web app for us, but let's see Qwen. So while it's going, let me see. Let's open Qwen Studio and let's go back to that prompt. Let me copy the detailed one. So now let's go to web dev as well and let's think. So basically you'll see the thinking process, you see the thoughts, see what it's going through, what it's trying to come up on its own, even though we didn't give it enough prompt for it to understand. But see was able to think of, okay, what it can do to make it look better. Let's see what it will give us at the end. So this, because of what we gave it, it understood what it needs to do. And it's trying to craft out what it will look like. So let's see, once this finished generating, we can compare both and see which comes out as the better one. But the thing is just that the more detail you give to a prompt, the better it becomes. And one other thing I want us to also do while this is still generating, let me open ChatGPT. Now, here on ChatGPT, I created a custom GPT for prompt engineering, which is this particular one. So I'll just copy that basic prompt, go back to ChatGPT, and I'll just paste that. I don't even need to even say anything to it, just paste this prompt. So what it needs to do, okay, now, because I did not tell you what it needs to do, it is creating an image. I don't want it to create the image. Let me just say, I wanted to write this prompt to make it more detailed and much better compared to what I gave him. So this should help you to understand. Okay, so now it has gone through the knowledge base to understand what good prompting should look like. And it's giving me this in Markdown format, which is the best actually. So this is what it needs to do. From this basic prompt that I say, create a brand identity for a coffee shop. Now it is giving me a much more detailed prompt that will help me get the best results. While this is doing, let's see if these ones are done. They are still creating, so they are still on it. So basically, this was a prompt engineering GPT that I created. What I just do is that most times if I don't have the time to start writing all those long prompts or to start going through the prompt framework, I just paste my basic prompts to it and it should just rewrite it in the best format for me. So with this format, I'll also be able to get the best results out of it. So that's also another thing that you can do. If you have a ChatGPT subscription, you can also create a prompt engineering GPT here to help you elaborate on all your prompts. Cleopatra, go ahead, please. Hello, Cleo, if you're talking, you're on mute.
So this Markdown, the Markdown prompt you just mentioned that is the best. I don't think I cited it in any of the formats you gave us, right? And is this strictly for this kind of prompting, or can you use it for any other kind of prompting, including the video?
You can use it for any other kind of prompting. The reason why I didn't mention this because I didn't want to start going like a bit technical into it. But basically, AI understands better when you use sort of AI language for them. Use a sort of AI communication pattern or software engineering language. AI understands it better. And Markdown is just like an engineering language or software development language, sort of. So it helps to format whatever you write in a way that AI understands it better. That is why if you know about HTML, I think that M starts from Markdown, but I can't remember what the other H, T, and L means. I think the M stands for Markdown. Let me just find out.
So a follow-up question while you are at that, when you were setting up your GPT for the prompt engineering, was it part of the custom instruction you put in? Did you mention it?
Yes, I mentioned that I must always respond in Markdown language.
Oh.
So this is markup Markdown. So if I go back to, let me just copy this in case I need it. If I go to GPTs, my GPTs, where is it? Prompt engineering, edit. So I gave it a custom instruction and I also gave it an attached file as well that has all those instructions included to it. So if I open this, I mentioned for it to use the craft framework. Let's see, I have it somewhere here for it to use. Always respond in Markdown.
Is this the file you gave it?
This is the file I gave it. So this document, the instruction on this document was just so large that it did not come. It was too much for this particular box. So I had to just cut only the part that could enter here. I left and I had to attach the rest of the document. So that way it has enough information on what it will always look at before it responds to me. So
how were you able to, did you create the document from another AI? And which AI did you use?
I used Claude. So what I did was
Claude Code?
No, just Claude Chat. I use Claude Chat. So I just give it a normal instruction that I want to create a GPT, a prompt engineering GPT. And I want it to give me, using this format, using the craft format, I want it to give me a detailed instruction that I'll give to, let me just go through it again. I want to create a custom GPT. So I need it to give me a detailed instruction that I can add for it to understand the best format for prompting. You should also make sure to include the craft framework, the XYZ framework, and other frameworks that you think would be best for prompt engineering. So I just wanted to give me the best result whenever I ask it for any prompt or to elaborate any prompt. So I need you to give me the instruction that I can add to it. So once I tell it this, I'll send it. It will be able to generate a detailed custom instruction that I can add to GPT. And once you go back to GPT, if you're creating this GPT, for instance, you come to this configure, you add the title, add the description. This is where you add the instruction. And if the instruction is too much, it's too long for this box, you can just add it on the Word document and attach it, which was what I did. Other option, if you don't want to go through this process yourself, you can just come to create and just tell GPT what you want to create. It will help you populate this other part of it. So once it has populated this, you can then come back and copy everything it has given you on this instruction. Go back to Claude and ask Claude to rewrite it to be much more detailed and much more professional. Just tell it to make it more elaborate. So Claude will write more of it and add more details to it. And you then copy, go back and paste. Or you add it to a Word document because it might be too much for this box. Add it to Word document and attach it as a file. So whenever you ask it for any instruction or to elaborate any prompt, it will first of all look at the instruction it has and look at the attachment it has to see which of them, is, or to see what it needs to take from both of them. And that's how it will respond back to you.
Thank you.
So that's how it was created. Let's see how far. Okay, so this is what the simple prompt we gave it came up with, which is not very bad, considering the fact that we did not really specify the kind of prompt or what we wanted it to do. It just gave us something simple, color, typography, application, voice. Okay, based on its own reasoning. Then let's look at what the one with prompt gave us. Now this is what the one with the detailed prompt gave us. So let me see if I still need to do anything. Let's say preview web dev. Now this gave us the branding. It didn't create the whole thing. This is the logo concept. This is the brand story. This is the color palette. This is typography. So it gave us the branding. So what we can do from here is to prompt it to go ahead and create with the branding. Let's just assume that, let's see what the thought process is. Crafting a cursive ratio, design a cursive ratio, striking layouts. So what I just saw from what this guy did is he gave us just the branding. And with this branding, we can say, okay, I like the branding, and go ahead and create the website with the branding. That's told us what the logo should look like, what the color and the typography should look like. So if you like this, you go ahead and tell it to proceed in creating the full website with this branding for you. But if you don't like this, you can say, okay, I don't like the logo, change the logo. I don't like the typography, I don't like the color, change it to this color, then it's to change it and create the complete website for you. So that's the difference between both. This other one went ahead to create something for us, thinking that this is what we should like, and it has created the whole thing. But this other one gave us the brand style, and saying this is how this brand should look. This is what I want to create for you. Do you like this brand? And if it's okay, we'll go ahead and create the website based on this branding. This is how the different colors will look on different formats. This is in the light logo, the dark logo, and all that. So it depends on what you want. But in a nutshell, whatever you're looking to create, the more prompt you give it, the better response you get from it. So that's just the good thing about it. And let's see. So now for this one, Claude has given us the full prompt custom GPT instruction. So all we just need to do is just to copy everything. You can either copy or you can download to PDF. But I would suggest to just download because it will be a lot easier. And all this prompt might not contain that box. So if we look at core operating principles, the prompt is the products, the framework. So using different framework, Craft, CoStar, XYZ, ABC, make the LLM's job mechanical. And let's see, operating modes, prompt creation, prompt elaboration, upgrade, framework selection tutorial, framework library. So this is even much more detailed than what I gave it when I created my own custom GPT, because Claude has advanced more compared to how it was when I created mine. Use X, so it's giving it when to use which. Use XYZ when the user's Y matters more. Contents, use CoStar when the delivery is content. I think I might just have to just download this and let me download to PDF. How did I click? Download as PDF. As a coming to print for me. I say you should download, don't print. It was PDF. Okay, prompt architect. So what I just do, go back to my GPT, upload file, add the prompt architect to it. Let's see. So now it has both instructions. So now if I use this GPT, this custom GPT, it gives me better results based on this additional prompt that I've added to it. Then I'll just go ahead and update. And that has been saved. So that is how you create your own custom GPT. First, you need Claude to give you a detailed instruction that you give to custom GPT. If you don't want to go through the stress of writing all these things yourself, just go from create. It creates once it creates the first draft for you, you just copy the whole prompt, go to Claude and tell it to rewrite it. So I think because I use Opus 4.7, which is the best with Claude at the moment, that's why it gave me this much more detailed and advanced instruction. I think when I did the last one, it was Sonnets that I used, but this will give you a much better results. So that's how you create a custom GPT for your prompting. And with that, you rest assured that all your prompts will always come out as very good without even thinking of trying to go through the format and all that. So let me see. So I think that's basically everything that we've covered so far. And does anybody have any questions based on what we've discussed? Okay, so I think Cleopatra, go ahead.
The GitHub skill you talked about that would help us with prompting for video, for Seedance. Are we still going to meet it in detail?
Yes, next week we'll doing all things Claude, Claude Code, Claude Cowork, Claude Chats. So this is where we install that Seedance skills.
Okay.
We'll look at all that as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that
One
will
last
be
question.
for next week. Okay, go ahead.
Just a slight deviation. You mentioned that the GPT image 2, which is the latest one for ChatGPT, that one is way better than Nano Banana Pro, which is also the latest for Google, right? I haven't gotten around to trying it out, but what are the capabilities of the
What are the
capabilities of the image 2 over Nano Banana Pro that you have seen? I imagine you've tried it out.
Let's try one now. I can just even show you one. This is one image I generated with GPT image. Let me get one for Nano Banana. This is Nano Banana, and this is Nano Banana Pro, not just Nano Banana. Nano Banana Pro. This is GPT image. See both of them, the same prompt. This one looks like, based on what I wanted like an action mean character, somebody that is like a lady that is like a badass lady. This looks more badass compared to this. This one, look at her face, she looks innocent. Doesn't look like very, very, very like a badass bitch sort of. This looks, her face, her posture, everything looks like she's a real badass. And we'll go to this other guy. This one, let me bring the other one for this one. Okay, let me use another image. This one does not look very fine. Let me look for which image is even better. This one. If you look at both of them, this one from GPT image looks more like a bad, tough guy compared to this. Even though this still looks like an action figure, but this one looks more like an action character sort of compare. But let's run the prompt for both of them. So photorealistic, let's copy this full prompt. The only reason why I like and if you're using this, make sure you select the thinking mode as well. The only reason why I like Nano Banana compared to a GPT image is because Nano Banana, you can use it for free, and it gives you the option to generate 4 different images. Nano Banana Pro. So it gives you the option to generate 4 different images. So with these 4 images, you can just pick the one that is the best. For GPT image, you just generate one, and if that one is not up to the standard you want, to generate another one. So let's see. Now this prompt to give us a better result, irrespective of the one we use, compared to show a futuristic phone, compared to this will give us a much better result. But let's just compare both. Now, this is what Nano Banana gives us. So Nano Banana is giving us. I don't know, if looking at Nano Banana now, I just feel like it's not giving me what I want at the moment. I just feel like it's not giving me what I want at the moment compared to what it was like about 2 weeks, 3 weeks back. Maybe because of this. Now, if we look at this compared to this, they both look similar, but this one, if you look at the casing, maybe you say maybe because of the casing, but look at this, look at the back, look at the side of it compared to this. Even though this one is showing us two different angles of this phone, but this one, the side looks, the edge, I can zoom it up a bit. So the edge, the curve on the edge looks more realistic compared to the curve on this, compared to the curve on, even though both of them are still very good. But somehow, this gives you like the vibe compared to this, but they are still very good. Both of them are still very good. If you're not looking into detail, you might not really differentiate. You might not be able to differentiate between both of them. Another thing that GPT Image does better than Nano Banana now is text on image. Nano Banana is not very good when it comes to writing text on image. At times, you see some gibberish write-up on whatever the image is generating. But GPT Image, you won't find that, even though this does not really show much text. So that's another thing. Let me see if I can see another prompt that we can get text to it. Luxury brand, site environment, buy sports hero poster. Let me see the sports hero poster and see if it will give us some text to read. So that's another thing that you get from GPT Image 2 that you won't get from Nano Banana. It is that text on image. But Nano Banana is still very good. It's not like I'm saying it's not good anymore, that it's become bad all of a sudden. It's still very, very good. If you don't have ChatGPT subscription, Nano Banana is your best bet for you to use because it still gets quality. I can as well still use any of these short if I had wanted to. I could have still just picked any of them to still use, and the video will still come out very good. Any of these ones. I would have still been able to use any of these ones. They've still been very, very good. But now let's look at this. Hashfeed FC Rise. Let me see the other one. This is very good actually, with the details. See the mud, the grass, the splashing of water. It's still very good. This one is like it's on a rainy day. Let me see if it give us. Now this did not put the write-up. I think on these two generations, I would say I'll pick Nano Banana compared to GPT Image. If do you have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Yes.
So the question is, I can see that you are picking the prompts from ready-made documents. So how did you get all of these prompts? Did you use AI to generate the prompt as well?
Yes, so I used AI. I used AI for all the prompts. So AI generated everything. I added them to the document. I can send the documents to you guys so you can just try on your own and go through them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so in some cases, you might go with Nano Banana. Nano Banana is still a very good model. It is still very, very good. But I think the only reason, just that I didn't think of coming up with any prompt that has so many text on it. And to try that on, okay, while I'm looking, let me just go back to, I'm just saying, I need you to give me a complex prompt that has so many texts in it. I want to use it to test between Nano Banana and GPT-2 Image, which is better at rendering text or creating image with different text in it. So just give me a prompt to give, a detailed prompt to give to both with different text written in the image. So let's see which of them comes out as the best. So let's try, while this is generating, let me see what, now this is the image. I think both of them look very, very good. You can even find it hard to differentiate which you would prefer. So this is from Nano Banana and this is from GPT Image. I think GPT Image has more color. The color pops very well when it comes to, I think this is just like comparing the latest iPhone camera and the latest Samsung camera. Both of them are very good, but one shows the true color or the real color of what you like. For instance, I still believe that Samsung has a better picture quality compared to iPhone because of the way it brings out the color of what you're taking. But some people will still prefer to use iPhone. But both of them are still very good when it comes to comparison. But it depends on what you get at the end. So now let's see this prompt. If you have any other question, please feel free to ask while I'm just trying to just get more example.
I still prefer the Nano Bananas image though.
Yeah. Now let's test it on this complex prompt and see which of them is better. Let's go with the same 4 images. Like I said last week, most times this AI, it's not about which is the best. It's just about understanding which to use at every point in time, or which is better for you in different use cases. So you can compare both to see, okay, which one do you prefer for this? Which one do you prefer for this? If you don't have ChatGPT subscription, there's no point going to subscribe because of GPT image. Nano Banana can still give you something very quality. Let's see. So I think this is the only issue that I have here. If you filmed this, I wanted to say if you found this, is it found? It's found. If you found it, I think the whole text, everything looks very good. Establish work. I can't see any.
Everything is correct. Is this Nano Banana?
Yeah, this is Nano Banana.
But on the test, there is an error on the text. Instead of ask, it says ask.
That's just the only minor error here. Let me see another generation and see if any other one has that same error.
Sorry, I think that's ask. That's ask.
That's ask, oh. That's ask.
That's ask.
Okay, let's go back to the other one. This is
If
not
you
ask.
zoom in,
This
it's ask.
is ACK.
No, it's
It's ask,
AS.
but it's smaller. It's
Is it
ASK.
S?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ASK.
I'm not seeing ASK though.
Yeah, I'm
I've
seeing-
Try to
seeing-
zoom in.
I've been trying to zoom it, going back and forth. It has over zoomed now.
Okay, let's see the one for GPT.
Anyway, the good thing about Nano Banana is that to give I with these 4 images, I get, if that one is not correct, this one is correct. So I can as well take this. This one, at least I can
Okay,
see
this
clearly.
one I saw.
I can see clearly here. This one is ask. If the other one is not correct, believe in. So every text, the city never sleeps. Every text looks perfect. Let's see. I'll set the aspect ratio. Why is it taking forever? So let's wait for this to finish. Let me see another generation and see. This call. Okay, this one is it ask or ask for done. It's important. Actually, create. Pay attention. 24 hours. Never sleeps. Anyway, I think Nano Banana just want to disgrace me today because I say GPT image is better. It is now giving me badass creation.
Oh, God.
Now compared to, that's why I say this one, the color pops very well compared to this. Let me look for the best one. Let's say I want to pick this. See both.
This looks real.
This one, the
Yeah,
color
this
pops
looks real.
well compared to this. So that's just the difference. It depends on what you're looking for and what you want. So this one, let me see how the text, no limits, stay curious, believe in, open 247, city never sleeps. So even if you see the wet floor, see how it's shining.
Which one is this one?
This one is GPT image. See how the floor is shining. You know that it was a rainy night
It's looking
compared to
better.
this. Yeah, even this, though it still looks like it's rain, but it's not as
But
This
this is
one-
more realistic. This
exactly.
This is more realistic. The other one looks a bit comic.
Yeah, so but the thing is that Nano Banana is still good. You can still use the Pro version and you get a good quality. But because this and they say this takes time to think through before generating its image. Maybe that's why it's better. And that's why it takes long for it to generate. But with this, you get a more vibrant picture quality compared to what you get from this. But you can still use this to still get your result, or still do what you want to do. It is still very good. Last week, it was the best. It was the best last week and 3-4 days back before ChatGPT decided to drop theirs to outshine it. And
But before you offended it.
sorry?
I said, is it before you offended it?
Excuse me. That's the thing. So it depends on what? And the good thing about this LLM is that they just keep competing amongst themselves. And at the moment, when you're thinking that maybe OpenAI no longer has any clue on how to meet up to expectation, they are also launching theirs. They just launched their 5 point. We'll go to chat 5.5 thinking model that you can also use under configuration. So 5.5 thinking model is the best currently at the moment. Before now, it was Claude Opus. It was Claude Opus 4.7 that was the best. I think Claude Opus was launched, was it just last week? Then ChatGPT came out with the banger. So this is better than Claude Opus at the moment when it comes to complex responses, when it comes to coding, creating a web app. It is much more better compared to what Claude gives you. So that is it. So now waiting for Gemini. Gemini still has 3.1, waiting for them to bring their own latest model, which will outshine what the other two has. Okay, so that's basically everything we can look at when it comes to prompting. And does anybody have any other question before we draw the curtain for today?
Yes, please. We're getting the video as usual, right?
Yes, I'll send the video. I'll send the video once the recording has been saved. And I'll also send this prompt as well. So this,
Thank you.
no problem. So this is just, let me see, just a few prompts from, has the general prompting, has Sedans, has Nano Banana that I can also use for GPT image, and also has the prompt codes as well. So you can use from any of this. So that is basically it. And next week, we'll be looking at everything Claude AI, Claude Code, Claude Cowork. And I'm sure it's not something you want to miss. We also look at Claude Design as well. Claude Design is actually the big thing that Claude just released. And this has made Canva look like a toy. Canva, Gamma. For those that use this Gamma to design slide decks. So it has made Gamma look like a toy. With this, you can also create animation, graphic motions, animation images as well, or animation graphics for your website or for any video. You can create slide deck, you can create website prototype. And the good thing about this is that before you start any creation, it asks you for your design. So if you have a brand color, a brand kit, just feed it your brand kit and it creates all your design using your brand kit. So that is how you get the best out of this. Okay, so that's basically it. And we'll go into much more detail on Saturday. Meanwhile, if you still have any question, just feel free to drop that in the WhatsApp chat. And Davidson, do you have a question?
Yeah, I want to ask a question. Like, though this may be out of what we are discussing today.
Yeah.
Like, if you are vibe coding and you want to use maybe another website to improve what they are doing, can this Claude Design give you that? Let
me understand the question. If you want to use another website to improve,
okay, you have AI Vision.
Yeah.
.co.uk.
Yes.
And I want that same thing you are doing now on your website, but I want to improve on it. Then if I copy your link now and paste on it, can you still give me that what I want? Can you do that for me?
Now, if you want, like for instance, for me, I want to improve my website. I want to add additional features to it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do is that I'll not give it the link of the website. I'll give it the source code. I'll give it the raw file of the website. If I give it the link, that means I'm asking it to start from scratch, to start creating. I'll give it what I've created already. Like if you vibe coded the website and you want that website to go live, okay, if you start the vibe coding process at first, it creates a local host for you to be able to view that website on your own machine, on your own laptop alone. Then if you want other people to be able to view that website, you have to push it to GitHub, host it on GitHub, or you host it on Netlify or any other hosting provider. So that way you can share that link live. So, but while you're pushing it to GitHub, the AI would have to save the source code, yes, as a zip file. So you have to attach that source code to it and say, okay, this is what you wanted to do, and it go ahead to improve that. So that is what I do very often. If I open my Codex, I use Codex. I also use Claude Code for vibe coding, but I use Codex a lot now because Codex has this GPT 5.5, which is better for coding now.
But you
So
can
what
get it only on paid version.
Sorry?
You can get it only on paid version.
Yes, you can use your ChatGPT subscription for it. So I use my ChatGPT subscription for it. Or you can also use VS Code as well. So, but what you need to do is that you have to attach the folder that has your file, your source code to it, and you can tell it to improve on it. The reason why Claude might be better because Claude has all those skills. There's a skill that Claude has that is front-end design skill. That skill gives the AI the front-end design ability to know how to code front-end web design to make it look very professional. Because if you go to AI Studio, for instance, and you go to build, and if you ask it to vibe code a website for you now, it gives you the generic format that every other person would vibe code. Every other person that wants to vibe code, it's the same generic format that they will vibe code. That is what it gives to you. But if it has that skill, it will be able to give you something unique, something different. And the reason why design is better is because whatever you're doing with design, before you start, design asks you for your own custom design, for your own brand kit, for your own brand design. So you give it the type of typography you want, the color you want, the style you want, everything you want. So your website would look very unique compared to what every other person have been doing out there. So that's the difference between that you give it the source code and to be able to use that source code to continue the generation or to continue the design to make it look better. So that is it.
So sorry, it's like I'm taking more time. So let's assume that you copied the source code and you came to this Claude design, but and test it without giving it any customized design. Can it generate customized design for you?
If you copy a Claude source code and you want it to add more feature to that website, to that design. So why this? You can do without that if you want to generate something. Like for instance, you can just come and do default or none. If I select none, for instance, it will generate without any custom design, without any style, any brand. But because I already have my brand, I select my brand. So, but if you're launching this for the first time and you want to create something, it will always ask you to add a brand kit. But if you don't want to add a brand kit, you can skip it. But brand kit is good. So whatever you created is branded. But if you're doing it for business, or you can always add different brand kits for different client or different business, add different brand kits to it. You can always select which one you want and save it with the name of the project. But if you don't want to have a brand kit, you already have you have a brand already that you want to just improve upon, you can select none. Or better still, you take that brand you want to improve on, give it to it as a brand kit. So let it save it as a brand kit and use that to create what you wanted to create for you.
Okay, thank you. Then one more more question is between these platforms, maybe what is in
which platform?
Codex, then Visual Studio Code using the
Codex.
Codex or maybe Claude, and there is one other one for anti-gravity.
This is anti-gravity. Let me open this.
Which of them is more better? That Claude design using Visual Studio Code and the Claude inside it, or anti-gravity? Which one would be better to improve on? Maybe you already have a website, you want to make an improvement on it. Which platform can give you much detail or can serve better?
You know, the thing about them is that they all use basically the same LLMs under the hood. So they will still give you with the same, like this, for instance, this is anti-gravity. It uses Gemini 3.1 Pro, which used to be the best at some point. It uses Claude Opus 4.6, which used to be the best at some point. But now there is Claude Opus 4.7, which is not here. There is GPT 5.5, which is not here. But probably if I update this, I should be getting them added to it. But the thing is that these Anti-gravity is an IDE.
Hmm.
Just hold on, let me, what does, I know IDE is a technical term.
I understand it. Apart from your talk, but if you are talking about ID, maybe like a Visual Studio Code and the other one you can use for Python, something. I understand it.
What I'm trying to say is that this one, VS Code, they're all IDEs. So they
Yes.
use as an interface to code.
Hmm.
But Cloud Code is an app, so it's not an IDE. And Codex, they created Codex just like an app, and it's also not an IDE. So Codex and Cloud Code, they are more user-friendly. They all use the same LLMs.
LLM.
So you can't say that one is better than one. The reason why I prefer using VS Code or using anti-gravity is because I can always see my files. I can always see the file that I'm working on the side of it. If I open file, I'll see my file here. If I go to VS Code, I can always see my file that I'm working on. I can always easily click on any of them and it will reflect here. I'll just tell the charts, use this one. But if you go to Codex, you won't see your file. You only see your chart history. You won't see your file. If you go to Cloud Code, the same thing. You won't be able to see your file. You only see your chart history. So if you now want to access the file, you now have to go to your folder and locate the file where the file is saved on your folder. That is how you'll be able to access different things. Like for instance, if you want them to add some things, like you want them to add some images, you have to go to the folder and attach the image. Or if you want to view the image they created, you have to go to the folder and open the image. But if you're working on this, for instance, you can click on, let's say, click on this README file. It shows me the README file. I can see it here. So it gives me access to everything here. I can see it instantly. I don't need to go to the folder to start looking for it and opening it. I already have everything here. That's the reason why I say I prefer using the IDEs, because it's easier for you to see all your files. But if you're not very technical, you might want to go with the app instead. So you don't click on something that will break anything or that will confuse you. But aside from that, the LLMs are the same. Like for instance, here I can use code. I'm using Cloud Code here. I can use Codex here. If I click on this, it opens Codex. This is Codex on this other side of it. Let me close it. Now this is Cloud Code. If I click on Codex, Codex opens for me here. So I can as well start using Codex to continue my charts. Like for instance, if I go back to Claude, let me open it on the browser to be a lot easier to see. If I open this, is this Claude? No, this is not Claude. So if I open Claude, for instance, I click on this, I click on settings, I go to usage, then you see they have sessions which you can hit your limit at any point in time. So this session resets every 4 hours. And there is a session for all the models, all Claude models. So I think this resets every 4 days or so, either 4 or 5 days. And this is for Claude Design. This also, you can also hit your limits. And this also resets, I think, about 4 days or 5 days, the same with this. So most times, if I'm using that, and that's another reason why I like using this on VS Code. So if I'm using it here and I hit my limits, I can as well just close this and continue using Cloud Code, Codex rather, and continue using Codex. So to continue the same thing from where Cloud Code stopped. But if I was using just this and I hit my limits here, I'll have to start downloading the file, or I'll have to start looking for the file and opening it here, or opening it on Codex to continue on Codex, because I've hit my limits on Cloud Code. Or I'll just wait for the limits to reset, then I continue. But if I'm here, I can use any of these models to continue the chart. The same thing with anti-gravity. If I hit my limit on GPT 3.1, I can continue with GPT 4.6. If I hit my limit on 4.6, I can continue with Sonnet 4.6. So you have options for different models to use. That's just another difference why I'll prefer this. But it depends on what you want, individual preference, what you want and what works best for you, and which of them you understand better. So that is that.
So in other words, using AI Studio, Visual Studio Code or anti-gravity will be more better than using only AI Studio.
I didn't even talk about AI Studio. AI Studio is different. AI Studio, yes, you can use it for free. But like I said, AI Studio, if I create anything here, it gives me the same AI slop that every other person is creating, the same design, the same text, the same typography. You can use this as a startup. You can use this to create your design, then you download it once you're through. Once you're finished creating what you want to your test, you can download the file. Then you go to VS Code to continue with it, or you go to where you already have your brand kit to continue. So you can change the whole typography, the whole design, so it looks unique. So you can do that. But these other ones, they're applications, just like Claude, just like Codex. They're all app compared to these ones. But these ones have the options to view your files on the side, have the options to use different model at the same time. That's the advantage that these other ones don't have, like VS Code, like Google AI Studio and Codex and Claude Code.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
None from me, none.
Oh, well, I will still cover more on Claude Code. We'll look more on different LLMs that you can use for different Claude codes or different coding. We'll still cover vibe coding as well. So there's still so many of it to come. Okay, so I think does anybody have any other question? So that's basically it. I think we've covered everything. So the next thing, I'll send that prompt to you. You can try yourself and see what results you come up with. And also, let me just quickly show you guys something. First of all, I had to use AI to generate 100 different prompts. So based on what we've covered today. So there is the AI image, different prompts, 25. You click on it, you'll see the different prompts that you can, and all the prompts are dynamic. You can always customize any of them, copy, customize to your test. And if you go to prompt engineering, the same thing, the playbook, it has a different prompt, about 25 of it as well. Prompt code, the same thing. Seedance 2.0, the same thing, different prompts, different dynamic customization. So I created this and I added it to, I've coded this website, so it's easy for people to access. And I hosted it on Netlify. So there are some people that would want to say, okay, I want to have more prompts. I want more of this. So while I was just creating the lecture for this, I just thought of this, have this created, and it's something that you can give away to people for just a little token, everyone that's interested in it. So I think I hosted it on Payhip. For anybody that wants to have a much more detailed prompts library, you can access this for, I think it's just for $10 or so. You can access this and have all your prompts stored in one place. So this one is good if you think that what you get from this might not be enough for you. So here I just added just about five of them. If you then want more, then you can get the one for $10, which is just, I'll say it's another way to see, if you want to see, we want to appreciate what Eric is doing, use it and say thank you. It's fine. But it's not as if it's the money, it's just for people just for me to create something that people can access easily than just having this. So that's one. If you're interested in that, I'll drop the link. It's on Payhip. You can get that if you're interested. Then one other thing, I also created my AI Vision Studio. I also created the Google Business page. So I also dropped the link for people to go ahead and drop your honest review. I'm not asking you to hype anything. Just tell me what you think. Drop your review there. If you think that you enjoyed it, or what I'm talking about makes sense to you, say it. Just whatever you think about the whole training so far, I will appreciate that. So I'll drop both links on the WhatsApp chat. It's optional based on what you think and how you feel. And I'll be more than happy to get your feedbacks. And also, if you have any question within the week, feel free to ask me anything. And I also continue to drop different tools, different methods of using all these tools, and how to make it a lot easier for yourself as well. I'll keep dropping them within the week. And next week, we'll dive into Claude Code, which is the biggest of them all. Okay, so does anybody have any one last question? Anything that's to drop? If there is nothing, I think I'll have to draw the curtain, and I'll say my good night to you guys. And thank you so much for your time. For those that stayed to the end, I really appreciate your patience. And today we exceeded 1 hour again. Hopefully next week. Anyway, next week I'm sure it'll be 2 hours because there's no way we'll cover the whole Claude Code for just 1 hour. So next week will still be another 2 hours. And I wish you guys the best in your prompting journey. Make sure you practice and make sure you try and use them. It will give you the best results. Okay. So good night, everybody. And I'll
Thanks,
see
Eric.
you
Great to take care of yourself.
next week.
Thank you so much. Thank
Feel
you.
better soon. Take care.
No problem. Thank you, guys. See you guys next Saturday.
Thank you
And
very
Bye.
much. Thank you.
yeah, bye.
Bye.
Save this. Gonna share. Okay, I need to stop sharing. Stop recording.